The Black Sheep Advantage, when breaking the curse becomes your calling. Welcome to Soft Girl Era, the sacred space where strong Black women unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French. And I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft and loving every second of it. Today, I want to share something with you that came from a conversation I had recently with Shoneika Campbell, a remarkable human being who is making the world a better place by showing us that where you come from does not dictate where you're going. Shoneika has spent their life breaking generational curses, standing 10 toes down in their truth, and refusing to let trauma write the final chapter of their story. They are living proof that being the black sheep in your family might just be the exact thing that saves you. And they reminded me why this work matters so deeply. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about what it really means to break a curse you didn't even know you were carrying. Here's the thing nobody tells you when you grow up in chaos. Nobody tells you that survival becomes your identity, that you start wearing your trauma like armor, that you learn to move fast, stay sharp, and never ever let anyone see you cry. Because if you stop, if you slow down, if you let yourself feel it, you might not get back up. And for so many of us, especially Black women, survival isn't just a phase, it's generational. It's passed down like a family recipe. Your grandmother survived, your mother survived, and now it's your turn. Except nobody ever asked if you wanted to just survive, or if maybe, just maybe, you wanted to live. That's what Shoneika helped me see even more clearly. You can break generational curses even if trauma is all you've ever known. Your beginnings do not dictate your destiny. You can come from chaos, separation, and pain, and still choose to build a life rooted in love, safety, and emotional wholeness for yourself and your children. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Your beginnings do not dictate your destiny. I know some of you are sitting there right now thinking, but you don't know my family. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know how deep this goes. And you're right. I don't know your specific story, but I know the weight. I know the shame. I know the exhaustion of carrying things that were never yours to carry in the first place. And I also know this: you are not stuck. Let's talk about Oprah Winfrey for a second. Born into poverty in rural Mississippi, sexually abused by family members and family friends starting when she was just a child. Pregnant at 14. Baby died shortly after birth. She carried shame, silence, and feelings of unworthiness rooted in both family dynamics and broader societal racism. She moved between caregivers and locations, often without stability. She found refuge in reading, church, and speech competitions, where her voice became her power. Education became her escape route. It became her foundation. And as her career grew, from local news anchor to talk show host, she chose not to hide her past, but to integrate it into her mission. And yet, and yet, Oprah chose to break the silence. She chose to talk publicly about her abuse and trauma, breaking long held family and cultural taboos. She used her platform, The Oprah Winfrey Show, to create space for conversations about abuse, trauma, therapy, and emotional healing. She became one of the most influential women in media and one of the richest self made women in the world. She opened the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for girls in South Africa. She received the Presidential Medal of Freedom. She hosted her show for 25 years, shaping global cultural conversations. She launched OWN, the Oprah Winfrey Network, and multiple media and production ventures that center personal growth and storytelling. But here's what matters most: Oprah's story shows that a Black woman can come from deep generational and personal trauma, and still break cycles, build wealth, and spread healing on a global scale. She reframed the black sheep narrative. Instead of being defined by the worst things that happened to her, she used those experiences as a foundation for empathy and leadership. That's what Shoneika reminded me of. That's what I want you to hear today. Being the black sheep can be your superpower, not your shame. When your story doesn't look like everyone else's, when you're the one who thinks differently, loves differently, dreams bigger, that black sheep energy is often the exact thing that allows you to reject toxic patterns and create something new. You are not the problem. You might be the pattern breaker. I want you to think about that for a second. What if the reason you never quite fit in your family is because you were never meant to? What if the reason you've always felt different is because you were built different? What if your sensitivity, your questions, your refusal to just go along with dysfunction, what if that's not weakness? What if that's your strength? Let's talk about Taraji P. Henson. She grew up in Washington, D.C., facing financial struggle, community violence, and family instability. She became a single mother in college. The father of her son was murdered. She struggled with depression and anxiety, but felt pressured to be strong and remain silent due to stigma in Black communities around mental health. Raised by a single mother and influenced by her father, who struggled with his own mental health, Taraji grew up seeing both resilience and unresolved pain. She worked multiple jobs while pursuing her dream. She had to choose between survival and her acting dream. And as she rose in Hollywood, she realized that success did not erase internal wounds, pushing her toward therapy and advocacy work. But Taraji made a choice. She moved to Los Angeles with her son and only a small amount of savings, standing firmly in her decision to chase her dream. She began therapy and became vocal about her mental health struggles. She founded the Boris Lawrence Henson Foundation, named after her late father, to provide mental health resources specifically for Black communities. She intentionally models vulnerability and emotional honesty for her son and her audience, interrupting the pattern of silence. Today, Taraji is an Academy Award nominee, a Golden Globe winner, and a nationally recognized advocate for mental health. Her foundation has funded scholarships for Black students pursuing mental health careers and provided culturally competent mental health support. She shifted the conversation around Black mental health, advocating for therapy and healing as essential tools for breaking generational cycles. Taraji's story illustrates how a Black woman can be the Black sheep who chooses therapy, emotional honesty, and new patterns of parenting and self care, even when previous generations valued silence and toughness over softness. Her example shows us that standing 10 toes down can mean loudly prioritizing healing and mental wellness for yourself and your children. And that's what I learned from Shoneika Campbell. Standing 10 toes down means choosing yourself loudly and consistently, no matter where you started. Resilience is not just surviving, it's deciding over and over again that you are worthy of love, rest, success, and softness. Even when you've been knocked down, you can get back up with more clarity, stronger boundaries, and a deeper commitment to the life you truly want to live. Let me tell you about Dr. Thema Bryant. She's a Black psychologist, ordained minister, and former president of the American Psychological Association. She's a survivor of trauma who has dedicated her career to helping people, especially Black communities, heal from intergenerational wounds. She has spoken about surviving trauma and navigating the intersection of racism, sexism, and spiritual expectations as a Black woman. Black communities have historically faced barriers to mental health care and skepticism toward therapy due to stigma and systemic racism. There is a long pattern of Black women being expected to be endlessly strong without space for softness, vulnerability, or rest. Dr. Bryant is the daughter of a bishop and has long moved between spiritual spaces and academic spaces. Her personal experiences of trauma, combined with witnessing the pain in her community, led her to focus on healing and liberation. Dr. Bryant pursued advanced training in psychology and trauma, specializing in trauma recovery, spirituality, and multicultural issues. She integrates faith, culture, and psychology, bridging gaps between the church, the community, and mental health care. She uses media, podcasts, sermons, interviews to normalize talking about trauma, therapy, and healing in accessible language for Black communities. She became president of the American Psychological Association, one of the most influential roles in psychology. She is the first Black woman in several leadership roles within psychological organizations. She is an author, speaker, and host of accessible discussions on trauma and healing. She is recognized as a leading voice on trauma recovery and racial justice in mental health. Her work has highlighted the importance of culturally informed trauma care for Black people and other marginalized groups. She has inspired many Black professionals and everyday people to seek therapy, confront generational pain, and build healthier relationships. Dr. Bryant's work gives language and tools to people who grew up with trauma as all they know, helping them rewrite their stories and end cycles of harm. She embodies what it means to stand firmly and loudly in your purpose, using your story, your voice, and your expertise to create more loving, healed futures for the next generation. That's the work. That's the soft girl era. It's not about being weak. It's not about giving up. It's about choosing softness as an act of rebellion. It's about saying, I will not carry what my mother carried. I will not silence myself the way my grandmother did. I will not sacrifice my peace for anyone's comfort. Because here's the truth, you are not too much. You are not too broken. You are not too late. You are right on time. And the fact that you're still here, still fighting, still dreaming, still believing that there's more for you, that's proof that you were built for this. Shoneika Campbell reminded me of that. They reminded me that no matter the circumstances, you don't have to stay down too long. You can always come out on top. You can be the black sheep and still build a life full of love, joy, rest, and freedom. So here's my challenge to you right now, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. First, name the curse you're breaking. I want you to sit with yourself for a moment and name one generational pattern you refuse to carry forward, whether it's emotional neglect, silence around mental health, unhealthy relationships, financial chaos, or constantly sacrificing yourself for everyone else. Write it down, say it out loud, call it what it is. Second, choose one small, loud action that proves you're done with that pattern. That might mean scheduling a therapy session or support group, setting a boundary with a family member, starting a savings plan or debt payoff strategy, apologizing to your child and choosing a new way of communicating, taking one step toward a dream you've been told you're too much or too broken to pursue. Third, commit to standing 10 toes down for yourself and your next generation. I want you to decide that being the black sheep in your family will mean being the one who brings in love, softness, and healing on purpose. Because soft girl era is not a trend, it's a lifestyle rebellion. It's a deep exhale from the Superwoman script. It's a quiet but powerful return to softness, rest, self trust, and radical joy. And you deserve that. You deserve to rest without explanation. You deserve to say no without guilt. You deserve to set boundaries without apology. You deserve to heal in real time. You deserve to protect your peace as a practice. You deserve to turn your pain into purpose. So let's do this together. Let's break the curses. Let's embrace the softness. Let's stand 10 toes down in our truth. Let's choose ourselves loudly and consistently, no matter where we started, because where you came from is not where you have to stay. And being the black sheep, that's not your shame, that's your superpower. Now go out there and use it.